Stained glass is a curious art form in that it's, in that light really illuminates and just changes how it looks constantly. During the whole process, I can't actually see what the entire piece is going to look like completed. I can hold up individual pieces to the light and see what that looks like. But as it all works as a whole, I can't see that till the very end. Yeah, it's just such a different art form. You've got all these separate pieces. You're building a puzzle, basically. You've got pieces you have to sort of nibble down, and you've got little shards of glass everywhere, and you've got just, you've got your stock pieces, and you've got larger pieces and smaller, and you're trying to cut them down and make them all fit and to get them to size. So the piece that I chose is based off of an original piece of medieval glass in Exeter. And so it's this picture of doubting Thomas, and he's putting his hand and fingers into the wounds of Christ, and Christ is willing to show Thomas that this is real and that he's worth putting his hope in. That image, I think, really captures a lot of my story and a lot of how I've approached God. Well, with this particular piece, it's got a real personal meaning to me. I mean, I can identify with Thomas and sort of his struggles and doubting and just sort of wrestling with what's true. I really resonate with Thomas's desire to know the risen Christ and to be able to see the wounds and to feel it and to know for sure that this actually happened and that Christ was really raised and that this isn't some trickery or some kind of blind hopefulness, that it's real. I think it's a valuable thing to be able to think critically and to evaluate truth claims. And with Thomas, Thomas, he said, I won't believe, until I do that, until I, actually see him. I really need something to back this up if I'm gonna die for it. And we know that Thomas went off to India preaching the gospel, and maybe even as far as China. And he died, he was speared to death. He was martyred in Chennai or Madras, India. And so that kind of veracity is really powerful. So stained glass it does take a lot of time. It can be a bit tedious at times. There's a lot of glass cutting, a lot of fine handwork. Yeah, it's not like painting a picture. It's not like drawing or sketching, because you've got so many fragmentary pieces all over the place you've got to keep track of. You've got to always be rearranging and always got to be putting those pieces back in again and then lining them up and making sure they fit and just continually clipping away and nibbling the glass and making sure that everything sort of, works together again. Christianity is something I always wanted to believe, and something that I did believe, certainly as a kid. But then as I sort of grew older and started challenging things and was just more aware of different worldviews, especially in high school, taking a world religions course, I was open, just hearing about the perspectives of Islam and of Taoism and of indigenous beliefs and sort of Eastern, Western, all over the map. And I really started to think about this, and okay, I believe that there's certainly a God, but where do I go from there? So that sort of took me on a journey yeah, of sort of testing these things and, okay, I'll have a look at sort of the Quran, and is this, what does Muhammad claim? And does this stand up to scrutiny? And does this, is this empirical? Is there evidence behind it? Or is there just a lot of sort of hopeful thinking? For cathedral glass in particular, you're painting the glass. So I use sort of a concoction of metal oxides and crushed glass. It's powdered glass. It's not enough for it to just dry. It needs to be fused. And so that happens in a kiln, and it gets up to the temperature where glass begins to glow and nearly melt, and that paint will fuse into the glass itself. I came back to Christ. I think I didn't really know him before. Yeah, I really challenged my faith and really wanted to make a decision and to know, if this is real, then I need to find out, and then I need to do something about that. I couldn't keep living like it was just moderately important, and this is sort of a side dish to my life. It's either going to be what drives me and what I'm actually living for, or not at all. It's natural to have questions, and it's normal to have doubts, and that's a part of faith, that's a part of growth, and that's not a bad thing. It's something that every Christian faces. It's what's going to make you stronger. It's what's going to make you be able to think critically about things. And so when you feel something, or when you start to waver, just go back to what you already know. Tree I use sort of to signify and symbolize our double-mindedness sometimes. We can sort of be blown with wherever the wind blows. And the wall and the building sort of symbolize the kingdom of heaven that we're granted access to in believing in Christ and who he said he was and said he is. And the staff is the crook, the good shepherd, staff of the good shepherd, and that Christ brings us back, and he shepherds his flock, and he'll pull us in. He'll use that crooked end to draw us back and to put us back on the path. And that's what he was doing with Thomas there as well. It's a continual process. I mean, like the glass, like there's new pieces being added to. And those new pieces, will change things and modify things, and it might change how you look at it and how that whole picture is coming together. But it's a continual process, just in coming back to Christ and coming back into relationship as well. We really do have something real, to put our hope in, and that I think the Thomas sort of picture is really a part of that. That Thomas tested it, and he tried it, and he found it to be true, and he gave his life for it.